In a world that once told them to hide their love, they stood up and made the world listen. They loved without fear, lived without shame, and turned their truth into strength. These are the women who dared to love out loud and changed what love truly means. There are stars and then there are pioneers. Namcha Cherinut is the latter. When she came out publicly as a lesbian, she didn't just reveal her truth, she shattered silence. In a culture where many still hide who they are, Namcha's honesty was radical. She didn't make a spectacle of it. She simply said, "This is me." And that act of truth resonated like a thunderclap. Fans who had been afraid to speak suddenly found courage. Her story became a beacon for young queer people, not just in Thailand, but across Asia. Through her music, Namcha continues to celebrate love, real, unapologetic love. Her lyrics often speak about acceptance and freedom, and her performances are filled with emotional sincerity. In interviews, she reminds listeners that love boldly isn't just a slogan, it's a way of living. Namcha has faced criticism, but she meets it with grace. Her strength doesn't come from defiance, but from peace, the kind that comes only when you are no longer hiding. She stands as one of Thailand's most fearless queer voices, proving that truth, when spoken from the heart, can inspire a nation. Moo Worranit represents a new kind of power, quiet, compassionate, and deeply human. Best known for her romantic dramas and effortlessly warm personality, she carries herself with a kindness that transcends fame. While Mook hasn't labeled herself, her openness to portraying diverse forms of love has made her an ally in the truest sense. She doesn't speak for the LGBTQ+ community. She stands beside it, listening, understanding, and supporting. Her fans adore her for more than her beauty. They love her empathy. She often reminds her audience that love doesn't need definitions. It just needs sincerity. In interviews, she's shared that the most important thing in life is to treat people with warmth, no matter who they are. In an industry that often prioritizes fame over values, Mook stands out for her integrity. She represents the evolving face of Thai entertainment, inclusive, kind, and unafraid to love beyond boundaries. Through her work and her heart, she reminds us that love isn't political, it's human. Pearwah Nichaphat's journey began with Hormones, the series, a groundbreaking show that captured the raw truth of Thai youth. Her role didn't just showcase her acting skill. It revealed her depth, her empathy, and her emotional honesty. What made Pearwah special wasn't just her performance, but her authenticity. She wasn't afraid to show vulnerability, to connect deeply, to let audiences see her soul. That openness made her a voice of her generation, a young woman who wasn't trying to be perfect, just real. Over time, she has become a beloved figure among LGBTQ+ fans who see her as both an ally and an inspiration. Pearwah consistently uses her platform to support equality and mental health awareness, encouraging her followers to embrace who they are. In a world obsessed with image, Pearwah's message is refreshingly simple. Be kind, be honest, be yourself. Her warmth and emotional intelligence continue to break down walls between people, showing that love, in all its forms, is the language that unites us all. When Lovesick, the series first aired, few realized it would change the course of Thai television forever. At the heart of this revolution stood Apichaya Saijum, a young woman with a gentle smile and fearless heart. Apple wasn't just playing a role, she was living it. Her portrayal of love between two women wasn't exaggerated or sensationalized. It was tender, real, and profoundly human. For countless young viewers, especially queer women, it was the first time they saw their kind of love on screen, not hidden, not mocked, but beautifully portrayed. Apple's performance opened a door that could never be closed again. She became the quiet spark that lit an entire movement, proving that love, in all its forms, deserves to be seen. Today, she's remembered not only as an actress, but as a pioneer who brought LGBTQ+ love stories into the heart of mainstream Thai culture. Do you think gender really defines love? Comment yes or no. Let's see what this community believes. Mind Warattaya doesn't fight for equality with noise. She does it with grace. An acclaimed actress and model, Mind has used her influence to promote inclusion and kindness in an industry that often overlooks difference. She's been part of pride campaigns, spoken about representation in media, and stood beside the LGBTQ+ community with quiet yet powerful support. What makes her truly special is her empathy. She once said, "Compassion doesn't need to be loud. It starts with respect." Mind reminds us that allyship isn't always about making statements. Sometimes it's about simply standing by someone when it matters. Her calm strength and sincerity have made her one of the most beloved allies in Thai entertainment, a steady voice of understanding in a world that too often misunderstands. Young, bold, and unapologetically queer Dream Supakit represents a new generation of creators redefining what it means to be visible. Openly lesbian, Dream has turned her art into activism. Through photography, performance, and her vibrant social media presence, she talks about what others shy away from: mental health, body image, identity, and love. Her message is loud and clear: being different is my power. Dream's confidence is magnetic. She doesn't ask for acceptance, she commands it, simply by being herself. Her creativity blurs the line between activism and art, making her one of Thailand's most inspiring queer voices. She's not just a creator, she's a symbol of courage for a generation, learning to love themselves without apology. Before she became an icon of courage, Faye Fangkaew was already a pop sensation. As part of the hit girl group FFK, she captured hearts across Thailand with her talent and charm. But when Faye chose to live openly and share her same-sex relationship with the world, she did something even more powerful than releasing a hit song. She broke boundaries. Her openness changed lives. For many fans, Faye's honesty gave them the strength to live their own truth. She didn't make a spectacle out of it. She simply said, "I love who I love." In that one sentence, she taught millions that love doesn't need permission, only honesty. Today, Faye stands as a trailblazer for LGBTQ+ acceptance in Thai pop culture, proving that authenticity is the most beautiful form of rebellion. Graceful, intelligent, and fiercely independent, mild Pattarasaya embodies the elegance of modern womanhood. As an actress and model, she's admired not just for her beauty, but for her integrity and quiet strength. Though she keeps her private life discreet, Mild has always been an outspoken supporter of equality. She's lent her platform to campaigns for LGBTQ+ rights, marriage equality, and gender inclusion, using her voice to remind the public that love should never be limited by labels. She once said, "No one should have to explain who they love." That single line captures the essence of who she is, poised yet fearless, soft yet unshakably strong. To many queer fans, Mild represents a new kind of pride, one that's confident, calm, and full of quiet power. Her message to the world is simple and unforgettable. You don't need to shout to be seen, just live your truth, and the world will notice. Before anyone dared to tell lesbian love stories on the big screen, Aom Sucharat was brave enough to do it first. When she stepped into the role of Pai in Yes or No 2010, she didn't just act, she changed a generation. The film wasn't just a romance, it was a revolution. For the first time, young women across Thailand and the rest of Asia saw themselves reflected on screen, not as a joke or taboo, but as human, emotional, and worthy of love. Aom's performance radiated sincerity. Her chemistry with co-star Jittaleela was so natural that it blurred the line between acting and reality. In interviews, Aom always carried herself with grace, never loud, never defensive, but quietly strong. She once said that love, in any form, should be celebrated, not questioned. That message, delivered in her soft-spoken tone, resonated louder than any speech. Over a decade later, Aom remains a symbol of representation, proof that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it simply smiles on screen and tells a love story the world isn't ready to hear until it finally is. If Aom gave the world its heart, Jittaleela gave it its voice. Known for her iconic role as Kim in Yes or No, Tina broke barriers that had stood for decades. Her portrayal of a confident, boyish lesbian was groundbreaking not only because it was rare, but because it was real. Audiences weren't used to seeing same-sex love portrayed with such raw honesty. But Tina didn't shy away. She leaned in. She showed the tenderness, the vulnerability, the human truth behind queer love. Suddenly, thousands of young women who had felt invisible could finally say, "That's me." Off-screen, Tina has lived her truth fearlessly. Openly identifying as lesbian, she has become a public advocate for LGBTQ+ representation and acceptance. Her androgynous charm and genuine personality turned her into a role model for a generation of Thai youth navigating their identities in a conservative society. Tina once said, "If I can make even one person feel less alone, then I've done my job." And she has done far more than that. She didn't just play a role, she built a movement. She turned courage into art and art into liberation.